Hey guys, Maniac here, and I'm back with the Maniac reviews, and to start it all back, I'm going to be reviewing The World's End. And in my own city, I've found my own golden mile, the Soda Mile. 12 stores filled with 12 different sodas, and finishing it off with the beautiful soda beer. Root beer, that is. Yeah, I'm back. Alright, so The World's End. First thing I want to mention about this review is this is the final movie to the Cornetto trilogy. Cornetto trilogy consisted of Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and now The World's End. And yeah, I guess Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, you know, good guys. Anyways, storyline of this movie is Gary King wants to do the Golden Mile, which is 12 pubs with 12 pints, finishing it all off with The World's End, and then basically on the way there, when they get back to their hometown, you know, they're having some issues, like as friends, the 5 of these guys, and then there is some other problems going on. And then robots and aliens. Yeah. So the premise of it is kind of weird, I'll say that for now. Characters, Gary King, Steve. You don't really find out the other guys' last names. Andy. What was the other people? Andy. And there was 2 others, but I don't really remember their names because they kind of died quickly off, not really. I can't remember their names, but anyways, 3 main actors in this: Martin Freeman, not to be confused with Morgan Freeman, Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and of course the writer, director, producer, etc., Edgar Wright. Yeah, guy who did all the Cornettos trilogies. So yeah, meow. And negatives and positives. I'm going to start off with the negatives. Negatives, not that much padding. Always good, so that's a positive. The jokes, some of them were, you know, there was a good amount of them that I laughed my face off of. But then there were some of the others that I didn't find funny and were just kind of like, you know, some of them they stretched a bit too hard for, but they were... But they, like, you still got them, and they were still kind of funny, but they weren't like some of the other ones where I just couldn't stop laughing. The ending to it was kind of weird in the way that, like, it's a bit of more character development and shows kind of how really crazy Gary King is and how obsessed with his childhood he is. And yeah, so the ending I found kind of weird. The movie itself, like the kind of premise of it was really weird and kind of, it's really kind of stretched out, and because of that, you know, it was a good movie, but I wouldn't say it was the best of the 3 Cornettos. I would say probably number 1, of course, Shaun of the Dead. Number 2, Hot Fuzz, very close to Shaun of the Dead. And then number 3 is The World's End, which is very close to Hot Fuzz. Although I've only seen bits and parts of Hot Fuzz, haven't seen the full movie. I own Shaun of the Dead. I'm going to begin Hot Fuzz soon. Hopefully I'll be buying that DVD and then watching that. And then whenever The World's End comes out, I'll be buying that. So I have the Cornetto trilogy. Anyways, though, and let's go on to positives. No padding! Woot woot! If you guys know me, I hate padding. It's always this thing that I look out for in movies. Jokes, like I said, the majority of them were really funny and really good. Acting, good as always. I love Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Those 2 actors, just in general, great. You know, Simon Pegg was in the Star Trek Into Darkness, and he was hilarious in that, and I loved him in that. I loved him in Shaun of the Dead. You know, he's a good actor. Another thing that I would say is a positive about this movie is basically just the storyline. Like, it was a outlandish kind of stretched storyline. It did have its problems. Like, there was a few things that were kind of confusing, but with some of the jokes and some of the other stuff that they did, they made up for that. And, you know, so the storyline, it was half and half. I wouldn't say it was horrible. I wouldn't say it was bad. But I wouldn't say, like, it was best movie ever. It's not up there with, like, it's not down there with Wolverine and Superman, those bad superhero movies. But it's not up there with movies such as Pacific Rim, which I really enjoyed, although the story was very cliche for that one. This one's a funny movie, great to go watch with, you know, a couple of buddies of yours. And yeah, you know, the robot thing, like, I think, you know, the pubs itself was, like, you know, when they were first getting into that was kind of big, like, you know, they were trying to focus on that. And then they just kind of threw in the robot and alien thing, which then got a bit confusing and hard to follow. But anyways, with this movie, I will be giving it a 4.5 out of 5 with the kind of stretched out storyline and the some of the jokes that were just kind of there. But then again, in some movies, you know, you'll get those where, you know, you get the ones that are just kind of not funny, or you don't find them funny but somebody else would in the theater. Again, this is mostly my personal opinion with this movie, and yeah, but I'm for sure this is the weakest of the Cornetto trilogy. Like, if you guys are thinking, well, 4.5 out of 5 is pretty high, and it is, but like, it was like Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead, I would say, is for sure like my third favorite movie. Hot Fuzz, probably, since I haven't seen it, it's probably going to be up there in the top 10. I don't know. I can't say. But anyways, like, with those movies, they're really good. This one's, like, probably going to be somewhere in the top 15. I still really did enjoy this movie. And I think anybody who goes and sees it would. It's better than the One Direction movie that came out yesterday. Don't go watch that, you sicks. And the City Bones thing, new Twilight, you know. Some of the movies this summer have just been... But next week should be Riddick. And yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, favorite, like, and all that fun stuff. And I'll see you guys next time. Oh, whatever I make. Hey, it's gonna drag on up. Peace out.